Hello. I'm going to explain how to do the evaluation of audio samples in this experiment. First, here we have 6 samples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. To listen to a sample, you push the play button. You can listen more than once if you need to. Next, we have the speech evaluation form. On this form, you first put in your participant code. This was sent to you in an email. And then you put in the speech sample code. In this case, we're listening to sample number 1, so we put down a number 1 here. Next, we have questions about different aspects of speech. For example, first we have overall comprehensibility. This is how well you could understand the content of the speech. This is not talking about how correct the speech was, rather this is how much effort you took to understand them. So if you understood nothing, then you have a 1. If you understood everything and you didn't have to think hard to understand it, you put a 9. If you had to concentrate hard because there's many errors, or because the accent was very strong, or the way the person presented their ideas was confusing, then the comprehensibility would be lower. If they made mistakes but it was easy to understand what they were trying to say, the comprehensibility could be higher. Also, if you couldn't understand because they were using very complicated vocabulary that you're not familiar with, that would also reduce the overall comprehensibility, even if the grammar and vocabulary were correct. So this is just how well you understood what they were saying and how much effort it took to understand them. Next, we have fluency and coherence. Fluency is the way to continue speaking without having to pause to repeat yourself or hesitate to think about what vocabulary you need to complete the sentence. And coherence is being able to organize your thoughts in a clear manner and present your ideas clearly. So again, a 1 would be you understood absolutely nothing, and 9 it was very easy to understand. They spoke constantly and clearly. Next, we have lexical resources, or vocabulary. So this is how much access they have to the words and phrases they need to express themselves. So if they are able to express themselves using precise language, and they don't have to, if they don't use words in an inappropriate manner, they'd get a high score. If they can only give one-word answers or short memorized phrases, they'd get a low score. Next, we have grammatical range and accuracy. So grammatical range is, can they use a mix of complex and simple sentences as necessary? And accuracy, do they make grammatical errors when they're speaking? Next, we have segmental pronunciation. This is, are they able to produce individual sounds correctly and accurately? This is not talking about somebody's accent. This is talking about, do they make a mistake in their pronunciation that interferes with your ability to understand them correctly. Because there's many different accents in English, British accents, Canadian accents, etc. They're both correct. This is, do the accents interfere with your ability to understand the word they were trying to say. Next, we have chunking. This is, are people breaking up a sentence into appropriate sized chunks? Are they pausing in the correct areas? For example, if they said, I like to play with my dog, that's good. If they said, I like to play with my dog, that's pausing at the wrong spots. You also don't want too many pauses, like, I like to play with my dog. Or no pauses, I like to play with my dog. You want to have people pause in the appropriate spots. Next, we have intonation and stress. So this is using your voice to provide more information to the listener, whether that is rising intonation for a question or emphasizing a word to show that this is the main idea of the sentence. And also you want to make sure that the stress is on the correct point of the word. So for example, you say, I like to listen to records is good. I like to listen to records, that's kind of rising intonation for a question, but I like to listen to records, oh, that's stress on the wrong part of the word. And finally, we have what aspects of the speech contributed most to misunderstanding. So listening to the speech, what was the biggest problem with the speech? Did the person speak too softly? Did they speak too fast? Did they have many grammatical errors? Did they have a very limited vocabulary? Whatever it is, you write down the answer. For example, limited vocabulary. And once you have answered all of the questions and given a score for everything, then you click the Submit button. Once this happens, you will scroll up and see here your response has been recorded. Then you click Submit another response, and then you continue with the next sample. So once again, you put in your participant code and then the speech sample code and continue. Once you have given a score for all the samples on the page, you click the button here to go to the next page. And you then repeat the process with the next set of samples. Please have a small break to relax and refresh yourself before starting the next pair or next set of samples.